Actually, I need two assistants, please. There's some more of those in there. Can you make sure everybody gets one of those? And make sure everybody gets one of those. I'm going to say everybody to come up a little bit closer so the assistants don't have to walk too far. And so this morning, we're going to talk about putting it in the dirt. Putting it in the dirt. And if you have your Bibles, if you can go with me to Genesis 8 and 22. And we're going to do this kind of quickly. It may take us 2 weeks to kind of get through this. Yes, ma'am, Genesis 8 and 22. There's a commercial that was on TV, and it talks about Michigan. It talks about the state of Michigan. And one of the things that I loved when I seen this commercial, and I gravitated to the commercial, and I rewound my TV so that I could capture this commercial, because I loved what it said about Michigan. It said, Michigan, fertile ground that grows things sweet, healthy, vital, and strong. It nourishes ideas, it nourishes talent, and it feeds the creative souls and causes you to thrive. This is what it said about the state of Michigan. I said, well, then I must have been missing out. I must go to Michigan. I've never been to Michigan, so I must be missing something in my life. So I'm going to have to take a trip to Michigan. If Michigan does all of that for you, but this is what the commercial said about the state of Michigan. So Genesis 8 and 22, it says, Noah built an altar to God. He selected clean animals and birds from every species and offered them as burnt offerings on the altar. God smelled the sweet fragrance and thought to himself, I'll never again curse the ground because of people. I know they have this bent toward evil from an early age, but I'll never again kill off every living as I've done before. For as long as the earth lasts, planting, harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never stop. The Bible speaks to the cycle of a seed as wealth and favor. Naturally, life, spiritually, faith, practically, diligence. Everybody say this with me: promise, power, and provision. Remember that: promise, power, and provision. This is very important. Everybody say that: promise, power, and provision. I'm trying to help you not to be broke in your life. So promise, power, and provision. Say, this is going to help my life. Okay, promise, power, and provision. A seed must be sown. In other words, your seed must be released, your seed must be relinquished, and you must let go of control of your seed. Everybody say, what is my seed? Everything I own. Everything I own is my seed. So we have a problem as people in general. We get stuff and we want to hold on to it. Okay, so when we talk about seed in church, everybody goes, uh-oh, they're talking about money. Oh, God, here we go with the seed. Everybody's, oh, no, they're talking about money. When we look at seed is everything that God has blessed you with. Okay, when we look at this, the provision that God gives us, he doesn't give it to us for us just to hold on to it. Okay, when we look at seed, a seed has to be planted somewhere. Where are you planting your seed? Everybody hold up that cup that I gave you. Look at your neighbor and say, put it in the dirt. Does that make any sense? Yes, because what are we supposed to do with the seed? Plant it. Right? Come on, look at your neighbor and say, put it in the dirt. Put it in the dirt. Come on and clap those hands for Jesus. So remember, a seed is promise, power, and provision. So what does the Bible say? If we go to Matthew 13, 1-3, a seed must be sown. In other words, we got to release it, relinquish it. We got to release our control. Matthew 13, 1-3 says, at about the same time, Jesus left the house and sat on the beach. In no time at all, a crowd gathered along the shoreline, forcing him to get into a boat. Using the boat as a pulpit, he addressed his congregation, telling stories. What do you make of this? A farmer planted a seed. As he scattered the seed, some of it fell on good ground, and some of the birds ate it. Some of it fell on the gravel. It sprouted quickly, but it didn't put down roots. So the sun came up, it withered just as quickly. Some fell in weeds. As some came up, it was strangled by the weeds. Some fell on good earth, and some produced a harvest beyond his wildest dreams. Think about this. Without a seed being sowed, the seed has no story. A seed is just a seed until it is sown. A seed must be released. So when you go into a store and you go to the flower section or you go to the fruit section, okay, where there's planting and all those seeds sit in those little bags, right? They're just seeds sitting in the little bags, right? What happens to those seeds? They're just seeds sitting in bags, right? What do they have to do? What does a farmer have to do with those seeds? He's got to plant them. How do the flowers grow? Water and sun, but they've got to do what? Are they going to just plant themselves? Somebody's got to do something with them, right? Well, hold on. Where's my helpers? Where's my helpers? I need my helpers. Look, I got some seeds for you. Doesn't make sense unless we do it. Here you go. Now, I was trying to find some mustard seeds yesterday, but apparently I couldn't find the mustard seeds. I was trying, you guys. I was trying. I said, you can tell I don't do this for a living. I didn't even know where to go. But here's some sunflower seeds. Give everybody some seeds. And as I walked down the aisles, there was all kinds of seeds. There was cucumber seeds and watermelon seeds and poppy seeds and sunflower seeds. But they were just seeds. They were just seeds sitting in all these packages. They weren't growing. The pictures were pretty, but nothing was happening with these seeds. You know why? They was just in the package. They had potential. They had potential to be beautiful, right? But they was just in the package. The picture was beautiful. They were beautiful on the package. If you look at the packages in our hand, look at all that potential. This is what the bag said they're going to look like, but that's only what they're supposed to look like, right? That's what they're supposed to look like. But something has to be done for the potential to come forth, right? It's just a picture until somebody does something with it. You're just a picture until you do something with it, right? You're just a possibility until you do something with it. You see, you represent the picture on that packet until you do something with it. The picture on that packet is all the gifts and all the talents and all the blessing and all the treasures that God has for you. You just in that package until you do something with it, until you plant that seed, right? You just the picture. Okay, come on and clap those hands for Jesus. You got to remember, let's go back up to the top. Promise, power, and provision. Without the seed being sown, the seed has no story. It's just on the package. The sower must release. In order to sow a seed, it must be released in gladness. We have to remember that I can go to the store, I can buy the package, but if I take the package home and sit it on the cabinet, am I ever going to get any flowers? Nope. It's just going to be a package of seeds sitting on the cabinet, right? I can walk by it every day and say, look how pretty those flowers are. And then when I go to my backyard and it's full of dirt, I've got the potential to have a beautiful backyard, right? But until I plant those seeds, my backyard is full of what? Dirt. I have to do something. But I got to do it in gladness. Somebody told me if you want your plants to grow, you got to talk to them. Talk to a plant? Yes. They said that you got to put the plant in the light. They said that a plant won't grow when you put it in a dark place. They said that plants need light to grow. They said you got to talk to your plants and tell them, you're so pretty. To the plant? Yes, if you want it to grow. Right? Come on and clap those hands for Jesus. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 6 and 9. Remember, a stingy planter gets a stingy crop. A lavish planter gets a lavish crop. I want each of you to take plenty of time to think it over and make up in your own mind, what will I give? That will protect you against sob stories and arm twisting. God gives it when the giver delights in the giving. When the giver delights in the giving. Oh, I only got $2. Oh, it's only $2. This is my last $2. Well, I guess let me give it so they'll shut up. You should keep it. You should keep it. You should give it. Because you might not get the $2 back. You should keep it. You should keep it. But with joy and gladness, because you got to realize he's looking at it. He already knows it's your last too. But God, I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you with a glad heart. I'm giving it to you with excitement because I know that you're not only going to give me double for my trouble, but he's going to pay you back. And we have to stop thinking dollars and cents. Okay, because you got to realize you can never outdo God. So when you give God 2, he gives you 2,000. But not only does he give you 2,000, he gives you wealth, health, long lasting. He blesses your seed. He blesses your house. He blesses your children. God doesn't only give you money for money. Right? We've got to stop looking at dollars and cents when you give to God. Right? When you give to God, he blesses your household. That's what you got to stop thinking about. This is $1 I'm giving to God. No, I'm giving in faith that God would save my children. It's more than dollars and cents, but us, if you church babies, have talked about money so bad that we've talked people out of their blessings because we put dollars and cents and Abraham Lincoln on it, and people don't understand it's not about the dollar. Right? I'm blessing so that the seed of my womb will be blessed. I'm blessing so I'm giving so God will stop a bullet that was intended for my baby walking down the street, okay? That's what that giving will do. I'm sorry, this is so exciting to me. When it clicked in my head, I got it. It's not about dollars and cents. It's about the seed that I sow that blesses everything I touch. Sorry, it's so exciting. I'm telling you, when you get it, it changes your life. Because when you're sowing of your time, you're sowing of your heart, you start sowing of your mind, you start sowing of your will, and you stop planning, you stop wasting your time planning on bad soil. Okay? You don't waste your time planning on bad soil, because see, when you plant on bad soil, it ain't gonna grow. It's gonna give you a headache, right? Your seeds become precious to you. You get ready to plant, and you be like, nope. I'm planting on good ground. Okay, and when you get it, it changes your life. And then God starts to bless you with stuff you didn't ask for. He starts to bless you for stuff you didn't even know you want. You be like, really? I didn't know I wanted that, but thank you. I didn't need that, but thank you. Okay? Sorry, this is so exciting to me. All right. A seed must yield. In other words, a seed has to die. Some stuff you got to die to, you got to submit to. John 12, 20 through 26. So, John 12, 20 through 26. There were some Greeks in town who had come up to worship at feast. They approached Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee. Sir, we want to see Jesus. Can you help us? Philip went and told Andrew. Andrew and Philip together told Jesus. Jesus answered, "Time's up. The time has come for the Son of Man to be glorified." Listen carefully. Unless a grain of wheat is buried in the ground, dead to the world, it is never any more than a grain of wheat. But if it is buried, it sprouts and reproduces itself many times over. In the same way, anyone who holds on to life just as it destroys that life. But if you let it go, reckless in your love, you'll have it forever, real and eternal. If any of you want to serve me, then follow me. Then you will be there. Then you will be where I am, ready to serve at a moment's notice. The Father will honor and reward anyone who serves me. Since our seed is not fruit, it must yield to the process of planting in order to effectively reproduce. In other words, a seed has to die in obedience to the process. We cannot hoard our seeds. We have to sow them in humility because God made us a promise for sowing. So we have to understand, we have to yield, even when it hurts, even when we don't like it, even when we don't understand it, even when we don't appreciate it. Even when we want to say, "God, for real though." And you have those moments with God, for real, that's what we're doing right now. Yes, we have to yield our seed. And people say, "You give till it hurts." No, you give till it feels better. You give till it feels better. What does it mean? It means sometimes I only have to. It means you give one of them. It means sometimes I only have enough for me and my family. Then you invite somebody else over. Yeah. It's not just about money. It's about planting in good ground. It's about when you have plenty, planting some more. It's about bringing somebody else into your territory and showing them how. And it's about when God blesses you, you bless somebody else. And it's about even when you feel that you're lacking, you give some more. Right? I'm going to tell you, when you feel like you don't have enough, that's the best time to give. Because I'm going to tell you something about seed. Sometimes we think, "But I don't have any money." But you always got seed. You may not have dollars and cents, but you always have seed to give. You never run out of seed. You may look in your wallet and it gives you back air, but you always got seed to give. In your brokest moment, you better find something to give. Because that's where the enemy dwells. "Well, I have nothing to give." You always have something to give. When you think you have nothing to give, that's when you start your best giving. Go in your closet, go in your pantry, go in whatever and start giving. Because it starts before the tithe. See, in church, we teach you backwards. We start with tithing. God said 10%. No, God said give. Well, we just start teaching at the tithe. We're supposed to teach you up to the tithe. No, we're supposed to teach you up to the tithe. It's our heart. It's our mind. It's our soul. It's our spirit. It's those people that we drive by McDonald's and we got our whole big old meal. And we can hardly turn out, and we chewing and crunching, and we just looked at them and we just keep going. It's in that moment God is trying to teach us. Well, they got on Jordans. It don't matter. It don't matter. God's trying to teach us how to give. He's trying to teach us how, instead of talking about how bad their kids are, helping them. Helping that mother, right? God's trying to teach us how to seed. Because when we learn how to seed properly, then he blesses our finances. But see, we always think it's just about tithing. It's not. I'm trying to tell y'all the understanding about how seed works. If you understand seed, then finances are blessed. It's not just tithing. I'm telling y'all, if you get it, it'll bless you. We have to understand that seeds are useless in our possession. So as long as you get a seed and you doing this, it's just a seed. That's my seed. This is just mine. I got seed. I got it. I got it. Okay, you just a person walking around with seed. A seed is useless in your possession. Okay, let me put it to you like this. My kids are useless in my possession. They're just my kids. What? Yes. They're just my kids. As long as I hold on to them, they're just my kids. What? Pastor LeMay, what are you saying? They're just my kids. If I don't raise them up, train them up, okay, I'm preaching to the choir. If I don't raise them up, train them up, release them, and let them go out into the world and tell them to fly. They're my seed, but I have to release them to the world. I'm planting them in the world and tell them to what? Grow. Right? How many of us have that seed in our hand and go like this? They my kids. They my babies. Well, hold on to them. Then what happens? They don't grow. And at 45, you and your seed. Now your seed on your nerves, on your couch, talking about, Mama, you got $20? Mom, I want to take my girlfriend out, but I ain't got no money. You ain't got no money, no job, nothing. You and your seed. Because you held your seed so close to you, now your seed ain't got no job, and they want your debit card to take their girlfriend out. That's your seed. Because we've held on to our seed for so long. We even have to release the seed that we gave birth to. Is it making sense? Is it clicking? A seed is no good just in our possession. We got to put it in the dirt, y'all. We got to put it in the dirt. We got to water it, right? And you know, here's a beautiful thing. All right, helpers. It takes soil. You got to put your seed in some soil. We got to put your seed in some soil. And the soil can start off good, but do you know soil can get corrupted? How many of you have ever had a plant that started off beautiful when you got it from the store? It's beautiful and it's green, and the leaves start off like this. And then one day you look at the leaf and you say, is that a yellow spot on the leaf? What is that yellow spot? And then you say, okay, I guess it's okay. And then the next day, there'd be 2 or 3 more yellow spots on 2 or 3 more leaves. And then you walk by and you go, is that a gnat? And then you look down there and you notice that the water didn't seep into the soil. The water is still standing above the plant. And then you look over in there and you be like, is that mold in the soil? Guess what that means? You need to change out the soil because the soil in your plant has gotten bad. Or, here's another scenario. Your plant is doing so good, it's just growing. It's growing all down on the floor and everything. But you look down in the plant and you realize it's choking to death because the pot is too little. It needs a bigger pot. It looks healthy because the legs and everything are starting to grow, but your plant is starting to choke to death because the pot's too small. But you love your plant because it's beautiful and it's growing everywhere, but you won't let it continue to grow because you refuse to repot it into a bigger plant, into a bigger pot. And sometimes you have to cut it and repot it into another pot. Some people keep their plants healthy because they put a little mayonnaise on the leaves to keep the leaves a little bit shiny. Let me tell you about my plant story, because people didn't tell me when I moved to Arizona, first of all, that it was 1,000 degrees. First of all, when I came here, I was like, it's hot. Brought my beautiful little plants from Utah. So in Utah, you take your plants outside, you give them a little sunshine for about 20 minutes, and you bring them back in. I drove my plants 800 miles safely, water and all. My first little day here, my first little week, I said, oh, it's my weekly routine. Take my little plants outside, 10, 15 minutes, give them a little sunshine. I went outside and my plants was dead, fried crispy. All 8 of them, fried crispy. I went out there, they was burnt to a crisp, just leaves just. And there was no saving them, they were burnt because nobody told me you can't put your plants outside here. There's a whole little method to that stuff here. You give them like a minute and a half. You can't put, and I mean like dead. I had beautiful plants. I even had ferns. Just died, just dead. And I was like, what in the world? My cousin was like, girl, you can't do that here and there. This is Arizona. Your stuff is fried. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. Gave him that little east sun. That little east sun just burnt my little plants up. So you got to know how to take care of your plants. This is the last one that we're going to cover this morning, and then we're going to open it up for questions and different things. Everybody look at me and say, you can't eat your seed. A lot of us treat our seed like fruit. We consume it. Say, what does that mean? It means everything that we get, we consume it. So break that down. It means we get seed, we spend it. Everything God blesses us with, we spend it. We treat our seed like fruit. We consume it. We don't save any for a rainy day. In other words, we get it, we throw it away. We get it, we throw it away. Why are we eating our seed? That's not what's supposed to happen to our seed. Why are we treating our seed like fruit? It's a vicious cycle. So let me break this down to you. We work, we get paid, we spend. Sound familiar? We work, we get paid, we spend. We work, we get paid, we spend. That's called a generational curse. We work, we get paid, we spend. Or we work, we get paid, we shop. Make more sense. Break it down like that. We work, we get paid, we shop. That's called a generational curse. When we look at this, we have to understand a seed has to grow. It has to develop. It has to progress. It has to mature. So when we look at that, we have to break that cycle of we work, we get paid, we spend. No, it's we work, we get paid, we save. Right? That's how the cycle of our seed is supposed to work. We work, we get paid, we save. Right? So that's where we're going to stop at today. When we look and we're planting, what are we naming our What are we naming our seeds? Are we just planting willy-nilly? Are we just planting in other people's gardens? Are we across the street planting? I done planted my seed all over here in Cassie's garden. I don't even know. I'm just planting. I'm just planting everywhere. I'm all over in Minister Bailey's. I'm just planting my seed everywhere. And then when I'm looking for it, I don't know where my seed is because I'm reckless with it. I work, I get paid, I spend. My seed is everywhere. It's at the mall. It's at the movies, at the ice cream shop. And when I go back home, I don't have any seed. Right? Because I work, what? I work, right? I didn't plant at my speed. I didn't plant it at First Ladies. I didn't plant it at Minister Lorena's, right? My seed is all over the West Valley. I didn't plant it everywhere. But then when I go home, I'm crying because I don't have no seed left. And then I'm saying, God, help me. He did. He paid me, right? And Jesus helped me pay my rent. And he's looking at me like, what are you talking about? I did, right? You worked. I paid you. And you planted. And now you back looking at me again, talking about, Lord, help me. The cycle of a seed. Right? Do we name our seeds? We just plant them. Promise, power, provision. What is our seed for? That's the main thing I want you all to remember today. What is our seed for? Those 3 P's. What is your seed for? Think about it. What is my seed for? If you don't remember anything else that I said today, it's promise. It's power. It's provision. That's even before you get to the tithing. Right? Go back to the Old Testament. How much stuff happened before tithing was implemented? Promise, what? Power, provision. What's seed time about? Promise, power, and provision. So if we're broke, what are we doing with our seed? Most people say, well, if you broke, are you tithing? I would say, if you broke, what are you doing with your seeds? Then I would go to tithing. I say, well, where's your seed? Because if you're broke, you always got seed. You always got to remember that. You have seeds. So technically speaking, you're never broke because you always got seed, right? If you understand how this works, you are never broke. So if you don't have anything on that debit card, if your credit cards are maxed out, you always got seed. You have to get a mindset. You got to get a mindset like my middle child, Nathaniel. Nathaniel was the child of mine no matter what wasn't in my house. Nate was always going to eat good. Jocelyn and Nate would worry me that, oh, we need. Nate, what you eat today? Well, I had this. Nate could find a meal. Nate was never going to go hungry, not a day in his life. Never. Never. If you understand your seed, you'll never be broke a day in your life. Because you always have seed. And when you understand how to work your seed, you're never broke. You're never broke. You'll go to God with your seed and say, this seed that I have, I'm going to plant it in the dirt. And I'm planting it on good ground. I'm trying to tell y'all, you are not broke. I am trying to, if y'all understand, you're never broke. You always have seed. And when you understand that you always have seed, then you get excited about tithing. That's when you get excited about tithing because you're like, wait, well, I'm never broke. So then tithing becomes easy because I'm never broke. I'm trying to tell y'all it works. Listen, trying to tell you it works. And then money starts just falling out. I'm telling y'all, money just will hit you. It'll hit you. Because then you stop worrying about it. Because then you stop worrying about, because money stops being the thing that worries you and keeps you up at night. Because then you really can live glory to glory, faith to faith. Because then it starts being a faith walk. And money stops being the thing that strangles you and has you in a stronghold all the time. You stop living your life worried about money, going to sleep with money on your mind, waking up with money on your mind. And then you really are living a faith walk because you realize that money is not my sustainer. God is. And then you start going back to your little seed cup and being like, okay, well, the wallets say no, but the seed cup is full. And then what happens is God places you in the place of the lender and not the borrower. You become the lender and not the borrower. And he puts you in a place of, Lord, if they never give it back, it's all right. He doesn't allow you to be foolish with it, but he allows you to be if they don't give it back, it's okay. And the only thing you say is, listen, if you know you can't, don't lie to me. When you can, do, but if you know you can't, don't sit here and lie. But you have to understand seed. You got to understand seed because you're never broke. Because God will not allow you to go lack. And he makes you these promises. And I'm telling you, money, you will find money. And God will be your person that will tell you, okay, that's good. That's enough. He'll let you have your little moments where you can go spend a little, save a lot, spend a little, save a little more. But you got to understand how seed works. And you're planted. And you're planted on good ground. And the good ground is not always people that you know. Good ground is the words that come out of your mouth. Good ground is the strangers in the grocery store. Good ground is the little babies that you meet. Good ground is time spent with him. I'm not done, but I'm going to stop. So remember, your seed is for what? Promise, power, and provision. And